Kharg Island, which has Iran's main crude export terminal and is responsible for the majority of its oil shipment to the world. For now, President Donald Trump has said that U.S. forces have destroyed only the military targets on the island, but warned that oil infra could be hit next if the Strait of Hormuz remains to be blocked by Iran. He said, and I quote, "I have chosen not to wipe out the oil infra on the island. However, should Iran or anyone else do anything to interfere with the free and safe passage of the ships through the Strait of Hormuz, I will immediately reconsider the decision." And that's the latest as far as Donald Trump is concerned. On that, let me go across to consulting editor Srinjoy. Good morning, Srinjoy. We'll come to the threat that has been given by Donald Trump. But do tell us more about the Iranian island that has been hit by the United States. The island, we are learning, handles roughly 90% of Iran's crude exports and is on the target of U.S.
Yes, Kharg Island has been hit. Now, Kharg Island has military targets. It's a Revolutionary Guard headquarters. So that apart, it has a lot of oil facilities, oil refineries, and also oil processing centers and places that moves oil. It's an export center. So therefore, it's very important for the Iranians. Now, President Trump says, I've hit the military targets, and he's clearly referring to the Revolutionary Guard centers there. I have not hit the oil centers. And if you keep the Straits of Hormuz closed, and if you fire at tankers, as Iran has done in these last 2-3 days, then I will bomb Kharg Island's oil facilities. It's a clear warning, but we have to see how Iran deals with it. Number one, Iran, according to the Americans, has no air defense left. So if you're using B-2 bombers, which are in any case stealth bombers, then they will have clear access to the oil facilities. And if they do, Trump threatens to destroy the oil facilities there in Kharg Island. Meanwhile, Iran is making it very clear that it will keep the Straits of Hormuz closed. Now, keeping the Straits of Hormuz closed has a price, and the price is paid by the world, not just by Iran and Israel alone, not just by the Gulf countries, because as 20% of the oil that the world needs goes through the Straits of Hormuz, once it's closed, it creates enormous supply dysfunctions as far as oil is concerned. And if that happens, then lots of countries suffer, mostly oil importing countries, whether it's Japan, whether it's Korea, whether it's China, whether it's India, whether it's large parts of the West. So at this point, we have to see how Iran deals with the Straits of Hormuz and what President Trump does about it.
Absolutely, because Donald Trump till now has said that only military infra has been hit. But if Iran continues to block Strait of Hormuz, then it will also hit the oil infra on the island. Let me take you through what Donald Trump has posted on social media. He has said, and I quote, "Moments ago, at my direction, the U.S. Central Command executed one of the most powerful bombing raids in the history of the Middle East and totally obliterated every military target in Iran's crown jewel, that is Kharg Island. Our weapons are the most powerful and sophisticated that the world has ever known, but for the reasons of decency, I have chosen not to wipe out the oil infra on the island. However, should Iran or anyone else do anything to interfere with the free and the safe passage of the ships through the Strait of Hormuz, I will immediately reconsider this decision." So that's a warning that has been given by Donald Trump as far as Kharg Island is concerned, a key Iranian island. In fact, during my first term and currently, I rebuilt our military into the most lethal, powerful and effective force by far anywhere in the world. Iran has no ability to defend anything that we want to attack. There's nothing they can do about it. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon, or no, it will have the ability to threaten the US, the Middle East, or for that matter, the entire world. So that's another warning that Donald Trump has given. But most importantly, the focus right here is on Kharg Island, on one hand, US has said that it has bombed the military infra, but it has chosen not to wipe out the oil infra. And here what he has mentioned, for the reasons of decency, I've chosen not to wipe out the oil infra. But if the Hormuz remains to be blocked, if Iran interferes with the free and safe passage of the ships through Strait of Hormuz, I will immediately reconsider my decision. So that's the latest threat that has come in from, in fact, US President Donald Trump. Coming to you, Shinjoy, once again, in fact, we have seen that Iran in the last 2 weeks has been attacking oil infra in Gulf. But before I come to you, let me go across to Patrikrit Pen, foreign affairs expert. Thanks so much for connecting with us. As we have seen in the last 2 weeks, Iran has been attacking the oil infra in Gulf, but now their own key island, that is Kharg Island, a key export terminal, is under attack. Your take on this?
Well, from what we are aware of is that Kharg is the island from which almost 90% shipment of Iranian oil happens, majority of which used to go to China. Attacking this, again, has been a red line, it appears, because now Iran, with whatever resources, limited or otherwise they have, they might again go extensively towards the installations of oil and other energy infrastructure in the whole of Middle East, especially that of the Arab states, which the Iranians presume to be de facto allies of United States and Iran and Israel in this war. So the bottom line is that this kind of attack on critical energy infrastructures from both sides is playing also a role in the price of oil, going up, and the price of other critical commodities, especially the shortage of LPG as well. Yeah, and this is a very, very dangerous thing that has happened today, because it is going to escalate the war to the next level, where more attacks by Iran on critical energy infrastructure is going to happen. And it's terrible what is happening. We don't know how much the Russian oil can stabilize the price, because now there will be more pressure on procurement of Russian oil. So it's an inflection point in the war, where it is going to take the war to a completely new, different dimension.
Absolutely. So it remains to be seen how Iran responds to this, but that's a key island that has now been attacked by US, not the oil infra, but till now only the military infra that the US has bombed. Thanks so much for bringing that perspective on that story.